little late, but I am here, and we're talking about how the wealth mindset is stopping you, or the mindset is stopping you from success. Your mindset is stopping you from success. But in addition to that, we've been talking about that since Sunday, right? And today we want to add the next component on there, and that is actually talking about um, the mindset that we have adopted that really prevents us from actually going to the next level. And there's several of them, and we're going to be talking about them during this week. But the first one that we want to talk about is literally that if you do this, promise you, you will make seven figures in the next 24 months. If you do this, you will do seven figures in the next 24 months. So, guys, if you're here, go ahead and drop replay in the chat for me right quick. And if you have not dropped replay in the chat, do it now. If you're here live, go ahead and let me know you're here. Drop your name and where you're from. I want to send you a shout out. And if you're so kind, let's go ahead and share this out as well. I want you to share it if you guys are on YouTube. Go ahead and give me that thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, as well as leave a comment so that I can actually thank you personally for being here. And then also every single person who participate in the chat, guys, I come in personally and actually engage with you. So thank you guys so much for coming. But if you do this, I promise you, you will make at least seven figures in the next 2 years. It's crazy, right? So we've talked about before in the past, we talked about how your output really determines your input, right? Is determined by your input. Your output is determined by your input. You can only get out of something what you put into something, right? And so what's happened over the years is that I wish I had it right here. I don't have it with me right now. Boom, there's one right here. Look at God, right? So this right here, guys, is an external hard drive, right? I really want you to get this. This right here is an external hard drive. And when this comes, it comes empty. There's nothing on this hard drive. The only way that I can get information off of this drive is by me putting information onto the drive. And I can only get off what I put on. Now, I want you to think of this hard drive as your mind. This is equal to this. You can only get out of this what you put into it. And if you have put in the wrong philosophy, if you have adopted the wrong programming, you can only get out what you have actually put in. And so now there's a challenge because many people who have adapted a mindset of wealth typically adopted the wrong mindset. I did it too. I am guilty. And all of us done it. Honestly, if we want to be honest with ourselves, we did not learn wealth and how to create wealth, period, during our life. And if we had learned it, watch this, we had the input, it would have changed us, made us do something different. And because we became someone different based on the programming, we would have done something differently. And based on what we've done, then we would have got something differently. I want to say this, and it's a radical statement. And I want to say it, right? And here it is. And that is that you are already living up to 100% of your potential. We all are. Everybody is living up to 100%, not their potential, excuse me, of their ability. You say, well, what do you mean? You can only do what's inside of you. So if you're procrastinating, that's what's inside of you. That's 100% of what's in your ability. If you are one who's living in fear and scared to take the next step, that's who you are. And so that's what you're doing. That is the input, so you're going to get the output. Now, watch this. If I change who I am, potential, if I change who I am, I will then do something different because I become something different. And as a consequence of that, I will get different results. Why? Because the only way you can change your output is by changing your input. And so we're going to be actually changing your input throughout this whole week. And this is going to be exciting. Right? So what is the one thing that I'm talking about that's actually going to help make you seven figures in the next 24 months if you do this one thing? Right? And that is learn how to generate revenue without your time connected to it. Let me say it again. Learn how to generate revenue without your time connected to it. Now, my goal throughout this is to help you change your input so that you actually get a different output. So, what is that goal? Or how do I do that? I'm going to do that by challenging some of your beliefs that you've already adopted and hoping that you will take on a new framework that would then create new actions, and new actions will create new output or new results. That's the goal. So the mindset that we adopted when it comes to time and money is that I got to go get a job and I will make so much per year or I'll make so much per hour. That is the mindset that we have. And if that's not enough, the mindset that we've adopted, the wealth building mindset we have adopted, is that now I need two jobs. Like this is because the only mindset, the only framework that we could pull from is that if I want money, I have to go get a job. My time is connected to money. Here's the idea, and here's the thought that if time is a limited resource, there are only so many hours in a day. And if your money is connected to the number of hours that's in a day, then your money is limited because your time is limited. But if you can actually separate your time from your money and make money that's not connected to your time, well, now it's different. If we can get to the point where we begin to talk about revenue instead of income, it's a whole nother conversation. It's a totally different conversation. Give me 1 second. Let me bring you guys over here because I want to be able to look at the chat as well. All right. So it's a totally different conversation. And that conversation it'll be something like this, right? It changes from what do you make an hour or what do you make a year? And that conversation then changes to what did you guys do this week or what did you guys do this month? Totally different. Now, what does that mean? %90 of the people, I ain't gonna say 90, that might be that's a large statistic. Let's say 80. 80% of the people today learn wealth by having an employer distribute them income. Right? And that's okay because that's normal. That's the normal societal way. I've had several jobs in my life. So it's normal. The challenge becomes is that I cannot do what's normal because the results that I'm looking for are abnormal. Guys, listen. If I'm doing the normal thing, I'm going to get the normal results. When I look at people who are making the kind of living that allows them to be free, their time is not connected to their money. It's just not. So the wealth mindset and the frame set that we adopted is that if you go get good grades, you'll get into a good college. That good college will let you get a good job. That good job will let you get a good spouse. That good spouse will give you a good family. And then you guys will get a good retirement. That mindset, that wealth frame, that philosophy does not work. It doesn't, especially anymore, especially in this generation, in this time frame. And nobody's talking about getting or replacing that mindset with a new mindset. Before they had pensions, before they had retirement plans, before they had all of these great things where you could even live comfortably. But today, if you're retired, you're broke. The average retiree today is literally broke because what we had in the 70s and the 80s, it's gone. And we've been working in the same system with the same mindset in a new generation, new age, new era, and it just doesn't work anymore. So how do you separate your time for your money? I'm glad you asked that question, right? You do it. Well, let's go in reverse, right? If I was to tell you that time is money, most of you guys would believe that time is money. How many of you guys believe that time is money? Time is money. If you believe that time is money, put a one in the chat, whether you're on YouTube or whether you're on Facebook. If you believe that time is money, put a one in the chat for me. Time is money. I know there's a delay right now, so I'll go ahead and say this. Time is not money. Time is greater than money. Thank you, Sylvia. Time, and good to see you, Sylvia. Time is not money. Time is greater than money. Let me prove it to you. If I was to tell you, I would give you $1 million right now, but your life would end, would you take the money? Just hear me. You can have $1 million right now, but the moment you take it, your life would end. Would you take it? The answer is no, you wouldn't, right? Because you realize that my time is greater than my money. That's I just showed you. Like, okay, so if I say, okay, well, I'll give you $1 million right now, but the moment you take it, your family, you live, but your family dies. Would you take the money? No, because family is greater than money, right? There are things, and so we say all the time, time is money, time is money, time is money. No, time is greater than money. So the fact that you actually are giving your time to a job for money, you are exchanging a higher value for a lower commodity because your time is greater than money. Now I need you to actually do the math. What do you make an hour? And say, is my time greater than what my job pays me? And if that is the case, where it's not greater, now we have to have an escape plan. There has to be a plan to escape. There has to be a plan to be free. I need to be free. You got to sing it like, I want to be free, right? You got to say it, boy, right? Why? Because I got to get my time back, but I also need to survive, so I need money. Now you are adopting a new belief pattern that is in opposition to everything that you have been taught. Why? Because if I can change your input, I can change your output. It's about adopting a new wealth mind frame. So time is greater than money. Can everybody agree with that? Time is greater than money. I would rather have more time so that I can make more money, right? Time is greater than money. I think we can all agree with that. If that's the case, then congratulations, you've already done your first shift. I was saying, first you said time is money. No, now you adopted my new framework that my time is actually greater than money. So now, how do I get my time back and still get money? Now you're adopting a new framework, which is a new mindset. A new mindset makes you now, watch this, now when you start answering these questions, it makes you who you are. Now that's when you get the determination, the commitment. If you believe, remember we talked about that, if you believe that you can actually do it, well, now that gives you the discipline, the expectation. It gives you the discipline, the commitment, and all the other things that come along with that, the resilience and the tenacity in order to make that thing come to pass. But let's work on the mindset first, and then we'll work on the belief system. And then from the belief system, we'll work on actually the output. Time is greater than money. So when you start looking in the Bible, and you guys know that my greatest reference is always the Bible. And you start looking at Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, you start looking at even Adam, you start looking at David, you start looking at Joshua, you start looking at Samson, you start looking at all these different characters in the Bible who all were rich. You can even go say, oh, George, all those were Old Testament. Okay, well, let's look at Jesus, let's look at Peter, let's look at Paul. None of them had jobs. You will never find somebody in the Bible who was wealthy with a job. They all were entrepreneurs. I need you to hear me. They all controlled their own destiny. Prove it. Okay. Peter owned a boating company, a fishing company. Paul was a tent maker. Jesus was a carpenter. They didn't have jobs. They literally had their own business. Like, this no other way to put it, right? So you start looking at Old Testament. Well, who had a job in the Old Testament? Abraham, did he have a job? Isaac, did he have a job? Jacob, and the Bible says that they had servants. You know what they called them then? Those were employees. Those were employees. They called them servants. So hear me. I'm not telling anybody to quit their job today. What I am saying is let's create an escape plan that you believe that you can do, that would now give you the desire to go do the research, the desire to go and write the plan, the desire to actually go and put the pieces together in order to get it done. That desire creates expectation. That expectation creates commitment. That commitment, why? Because I have a new framework that I believe that I can actually do. But in order to get different results, we have to think differently. All right. So now that we understand that there is already a framework that already exists where people did not have jobs, according to the word, well, then how do we actually escape where we are and get to that? Well, there's several ways that you can do it. Now, I did it through real estate, but you don't have to do it through real estate. There's several ways that you can actually get out here and do it, right? I chose to do it through real estate. So when you start looking at, this book right here, The Property Strategy, I started buying property for $300. That's literally how I got started, using no credit. That's how I got started. And I did it again and again and again and again and again. And I got better and better and better at it. Well, then it evolved. Then I started teaching people how to do it. And they did it again and again and again. Then it evolved. Then I did courses on it. And they did it again and again and again. Then it evolved. Then I did conferences on it. And they did it again and again and again. Are you saying now I got the real estate? Then I had the courses. Then I had the mentees. Then I had the conferences. And it kept growing and I kept expanding it. But I started literally with doing it. And then I started teaching it, but it's still in the same realm. So one of the things that another framework that we've adopted that's wrong, that I really wasn't planning on talking about today, is that framework there where we say, oh, you need multiple streams of income. And you do. But they all should correlate with each other. They all should go together. Like I just said, I was doing real estate, then I taught I did tax liens, and I taught tax liens. Then I did tax liens, and I did a course on tax liens. And then I did conferences on tax liens. Now I just wrote 7 books on tax liens. Are you seeing the common theme here? They all are tax liens, but they're all different streams of income. But they're all in the same category. I don't want to go out here and do real estate, but then I want to teach you how to become, I want to teach you how to do digital marketing. That's another stream. But then I'm going to write a book on cooking. And then while I'm doing that, I'm going to open this business over here on landscaping. And then while I'm doing that, I'm going to do conferences on getting rest. Right? None of those go together, or Amazon sales or whatever. None of those go together. So yes, do you need multiple streams of income, but they all need to correlate with each other. They have to. They must. So now that you're looking at that, it says, okay, you want to start small. And guys, I want to tell you this. I just got off the phone with a really good friend of mine, and we were talking about it. Excuse me. You cannot despise the days of small beginnings. I really want you to hear me on this. You cannot despise the days of small beginnings. You're going to start small. Nobody starts big. Nobody. I don't care who. Elon Musk didn't, Jeff Bezos didn't, Mark Zuckerberg didn't, the Waltons didn't, the Pennies didn't, Sears and Roebuck didn't. None of them started big. They all started small. And in very few incremental steps, they grew it and grew it and grew it and grew it and grew it. Do not believe that your idea is small. Now, here's the next thing. And this is the next framework I need you to adopt. Remember, all of this is about belief, right? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I can't teach it right now. You got to go back to Sunday. All this is about belief. I want you to find something that's inside of you that you know that you are supposed to be doing, that you know God has called you to, that you know that you do better than anybody else. And you might think it's not a big deal. Matter of fact, you're going to think it's not a big deal because you do it naturally. People like my Oreo cookies, or people like my dumplings. People, people like the way I knit. People like, whatever. The people are complimenting. Like, I want you to find that thing. I'm telling you, you already know what it is. Like, you may not know what it is because to you it's normal. It's like, for me, it wasn't just real estate, it was finances. Like, it just came natural to me. It's been that way since I was this big. Money, finances, it's been normal, it's natural to me. So as I learned it and I did it and I did it, I would wonder, like, wait, everybody don't know this? And they're like, no, we don't know this. And I'm like, but I thought everybody knew it. Why? Because what was natural to me was not natural to someone else. There's something that you do that is natural to you, and you don't even think it's a big deal. Let's prove it. 2 Kings chapter 4. The prophet comes to the where the widow goes to the prophet, says, hey, they're going to take my sons, they're going to put them into slavery. And what did he say? He says, what do you have in the house? And what did she say? The only thing I got is some oil. What she did not think was a big deal was the thing that was going to rescue not only her children, but also create generational wealth for her family. What she did not think was a big deal was the next $1 million idea that was literally going to create a rescue plan for everything else she had going on in life. But it wasn't a big deal to her. She did not think it was a big deal. There's something that you do that you don't even think is a big deal that other people would pay you for. I promise you. What is it? Matter of fact, if you know or have an idea what that is, put it in the chat. I want to see it. Like, boy, nobody else can bring potato salad for the family reunion except Riri. Riri, man, that potato salad is the bomb. You like, yeah, it's just my potato salad though. Man, do you know what we could do with your potato salad? Oh my gosh. How many cookie companies are there in the world right now? Matter of fact, how many times have you gone into any of the grocery store chains and they potato salad sucked? It sucked, but they sell it in the grocery stores. I want y'all to get this. There's something inside of you that you do. Now, my job is to help you believe that you can actually do it. See, I had the game mixed up. I'm gonna be honest with you, right? Because as my mind begins to develop, I bring that back to you guys, right? I thought as a coach that I could only take you as far as you believe, and it's true. That really is true. So I thought that you had to have the belief, and I could take you that far. That's not true. My job is to believe in you more than you do. Have you ever heard, well, I'm not going to believe in them more than they do? As a coach, that's my job. My job is to believe in you more than you do. That is literally my job. And then I had to, when I heard the statement, I had to literally go back and think of my wrestling coaches and my football coaches. Was like, man, they seen state champions inside of me. They seen All-Americans in me when I didn't see it. And the reason they had me run the extra laps, the reason we did the 3-a-days, and the reason they had me in the gym in off season is because they knew what was inside of me and they could see it, and their job was to stretch me to get it out. Well, it's no different in coaching, whether it's business and life or in finances or whatever. It's no different. That I have to help you believe, but I have to believe in you more than you do. That was new to me. So Sylvia says, I really, really enjoy trading. I'm undercover introvert though. All right. Sylvia, it's not going to turn into a coaching session, but I'm just going to say it, right? And I didn't ask you what you enjoy. See, that's another misnomer, another mindset that guys, I'm already over time. Another mindset that we got to crush. People be like, oh, what's your passion? I didn't ask you what your passion was. I asked you, what do you do that's better than anybody else? And you don't even think it's a big deal because it comes natural to you. Watch this. It could be something like, man, I kick they tail in spades. Do you know how many spades players there are in America? And then you take the same principles from spades and you pay, I think it is euchre in the Caucasian and in our counterparts. Do you know what we could do if you knew how to count spades and do strategies? And now we can actually do it now. Every time you sit at a table, you're gonna kick their tail in spades. There's a market for everything. What do you do? Right. So I'm not gonna have time. We have to come back and do this tomorrow, right? Um, gosh, I really wanted to get done with this today, but it's not gonna happen. All right, so I don't even know where to start because there's so many things I want to share with you that it's just this is gonna be a longer series than I thought it was gonna be. I just like to talk, right? I don't know. So here's the deal, right? Um, when you begin to examine yourself and begin to say that this is what I do good versus what you like to do, if what you like to do is not generating income, if what you like to do, you're not doing better than other people, if what you like to do, you're not excelling in, then that's not for you. I'm not saying it's not for you, but that's not where we start. Right? So Sylvia, you say I like to trade. Okay, my next question is how much money do you make? Trading, right? I like what's the thing? I like to fish. I like fishing. I really do. But right now, I cannot make a living on fishing. All right, so she says, I encourage people that come natural. Are you good at it? Do people tell you all the time, like, girl, the way you encourage people is such the bomb. The way you motivate people, and I'm not saying that that's not possible. It could be possible. There is a gifting for people who encourage people. Like encouragement, is it youth? Is it women? Is it men? Is it people that's broken in relationships? Is it you encourage people who are failing in business? Like encourage people where, how, what do you do, and are you good at it? You understand what I'm saying? Now we're going to drill down a little deeper and drill down a little deeper and drill down a little deeper. And we're going to start talking about this. For me, I love finances. I love it. But what am I teaching? Real estate. She said, I'm great at it, right? Good. Right. I love finance, but I'm teaching real estate. Why? Because it's proven. I made money and I made money for other people. A lot of it. It's proven. People ask me to teach them real estate. People are willing to pay me to teach them real estate. That can happen with encouragement. Like a lot. Most people that are on talk shows are just great people who encourage. But where and how do you encourage? In what area? What is the people who are despondent, rejected, people who are going through grief, people who are going through business bankruptcy, people going through divorce? What area do you encourage? Okay, let's find that niche, right? So anyway, so the principle is to find something that you do better than everybody else, that you don't even think is a big deal. And it comes pretty natural to you. The next thing is that we're going to find a way to actually turn that gifting into asset, into revenue, into cash. And we're going to start very, 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 very small. But you have to find a way to separate your time from money. Then she says, I'm an introvert. Well, that's kind of hard. All right, Sylvia, and I'm not jumping on you, but like I hear people and I hear introvert, and I'm like, wait, they because to encourage people, I have to talk to people, and introverts usually don't like to work or talk with people. So you understand what I'm saying? Help me with that. Help me with that. All right. So guys, time, separate your time from money. What are some ideas right now that you can actually separate your time from money? Right. And it can be a business. Now I'm talking about business. It could be business. It could be real estate. It could be investing. It could be, it could be things like whether it's blockchain. It could be things such as setting up automation. It could be digital marketing. It could be Shopify. It could be Amazon. It could be, do you see, like, it could be so many different things. It can be so many different things, but I got to find a way that I'm going to separate my time from money. I have to, because that piece right there has been one of the biggest lies that people have told us, that you have to go work for money through a job. I'm not saying you don't have to work for money. I'm saying that it does not have to be through a job. And then when we figure out that the formula doesn't work, the job formula doesn't work, what do? We go get a second job. Because that's all we know. That's all we can pull from. Like, that's all we know. Like, the job doesn't work, so I'm going to go get a second job. Then we go get a second job, and that second job is done. We're tired. We ain't got time with family. The kids get on our nerves. I don't even want to talk to me. All I want to do is rest. I'm irritable. Like, and then I finally got a day off from this job, but I got to go to work on this job. It's like, oh my God, this is not the life that I signed up for. This is not the life that God has promised me. And God is saying, you didn't follow the formula. You didn't follow the blueprint. There's a word way and there's a world's way. What's going on, Mr. Rogers? There's a world's way and there's a word's way. Challenge me. I'm telling you, I challenge you. Find somebody in the Bible who had a job and was wealthy. It's not in there, because God never called you to a job. He called you to work. But we correlated work and job and we put them in the same situation. God never called you to that. Work and job are not equal. You can work, but it does not have to be through a job. It can be through real estate. It can be through investing. It can be through crypto, which is kind of sort of like investing. It can be through your own business. As Mr. Rogers said, e-commerce. There are so many. You can build an app. Like, there's so many different things that are out there that I promise you do like nobody else. Nobody else. So the first stage, congratulations, guys. I got to go with like 32 minutes. I'm 12 minutes over. The first stage, guys, congratulations, is that you adopted a new belief today. And that is that time is not money. Time is greater than money. And in order to be free, you must separate your time from money. That is a new mindset. That's a new concept. It is, and guys, we're going to ingratiate that. We're going to actually not ingratiate. We're going to keep re-emphasizing that and re-emphasizing that and re-emphasizing that every single day. We're going to start tearing down all of these different errors on the hard drive because somebody programmed us with a whole lot of misinformation. And now we're working off of that misinformation. And the only thing we can get out of us is what's in us. Hear me, and I mean this. You will never do more than your hard drive, more than your mindset. The problem is that, so I connect business owners to business lenders. I get paid for that. That's a broker. That happens all day long. Are you a broker, Sylvia? That's brokerage. That's how I got started. I was a mortgage broker. I'm a loan officer. That's how I was 19 years old as a loan officer, making great money. And then I learned finance. Well, I already knew finance, but then I started teaching finance. Then I started teaching credit. And then I wrote my credit book. And then I got on the radio. And then I opened my own mortgage company. And then it just kind of took off. Then I get mortgages, went into real estate. And it just kind of grew from there. But that's how I got started. Middleman, a broker. Nothing wrong with that. Guys, there's so many ways. This is your homework, right? This is your homework. It's your homework. I'm going to give y'all homework. We can come back tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Your homework is this. Tomorrow, I want you, as you're driving down the street, I don't know if you're going to work, I don't know if you're going to church, I don't know where you're going. As you're driving down the street, I want you to count money. Hear me. There are trees in the yard. Somebody planted those trees. There's cars. Somebody not only made those cars, somebody sold those cars. Somebody repaired those cars. There's pavement. Somebody paved those streets. There are lines on the street. Somebody put them lines on the street. I want you to say, how much did it cost to do this? You're going to see signage. Those are sign companies. Then you have companies that are paying for the signs each month. They're advertising for their business. You're going to see buildings. Somebody built those buildings. You're going to see stoplights. Somebody put that stoplight up. And every single thing you see was a transaction. It was commerce. It was money. And then I want you to see how much money you count. When you pass apartment complex, you pass corporations, when you pass business complexes, I want you to say, man, that's 100 million. That's 200 million. That's 300 million. That's 400 million. This pavement right here got to be at least 15, 20 million, right? I want you to count the money. And then I want you to say, well, if that's the case, and this is just this square miles that I'm going right here from work, from my house to work, and my house to church, or wherever I'm going, and I can count this many billions of dollars. And then I got to think not just this area, what's in this zip code, not only just this zip code, what's in this town, not only in this town, what's in this county, not just this county, what's in this state, not just this state, but what's in the United States, not just United States, what's in the world. And then I want you to figure out that money is limitless. Money is endless. There is no end result of money, not end result. There is no limitation to money. It's everywhere. Everywhere you look, everywhere you see, everywhere you go. Now I got to just figure out, how do I get some of it? Because it's everywhere. Money is, and I don't care who's the president, people still gonna make money. Movers and shakers are still gonna move and shake. I don't care who the president is. I don't care who's in power. Guys, there's 4 things you can depend on. You want to hear this? It's stupid, right? But it's 4 things you can depend on. You ready for this? You're gonna hit spring, summer, fall, and winter. Then what's gonna happen? You're gonna hit spring, summer, fall, and winter. Those are 4 things you can depend on. What am I saying? What I'm saying is that time is going to be consistent, and spring, summer, fall, and winter is not going to change. And I don't care who president is. I don't care what's going on. It's still going to be spring, summer, fall, and winter. And if it's that consistent, then how you're going to make money is also going to be just as consistent. I don't know any company went out of business because the president became a president. You might have paid more money. You had smaller margins. Might pay more taxes. Might have had to pay a higher wage for minimum wage. But I don't know anybody when poor Biden president, I went out of business. Typically it doesn't happen. So what I'm saying is that who get elected, that doesn't stop you from making money. Who's in charge doesn't stop you from making money, because your source is not who's running the government. Your source is God. That's my time for today, guys. I am like 18 minutes over. And I was a mortgage broker for 12 years. Right. I can go a million ways with that, Sylvia. A million ways with that. Because that's what I did. Guys, we're going to be back here tomorrow. We still need to talk about time and money. And the mindset, the flawed mindset we have. I really want to talk about credit tomorrow. The flawed mindset that we have when it comes to credit, right? And then we want to start building on top of that, those mindsets, those frameworks, start building on top of it. Let's knock down all the things that people told us, like investing. The way they teach us to invest in this country is stupid. It is just dumb. And we're just going to start knocking down these mental frameworks and then replacing them with wealth building frameworks. And before you know it, you'll have a money mindset. But right now, what is a mindset? What is a money mindset? It is a framework or a belief system that you have adopted about wealth and what you see the world through. That's what your mind, like people say, you got to change your money mindset. It's just a set of beliefs that you have adopted in which you now see through that lens about wealth. That's all it is. And if I can change your belief system, then I change your lens. If I change your lens, I change how you see, act, and do, and I change your results. But we got to start first with the framework of your belief system. That's my time for today, guys. I love you guys with the love of Christ. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Don't forget to go to financialmoses.com. Go to financialmoses.com. I'm giving this book away. Not just this book. I'm giving all these books away. All 7 of them. I'm seating 1,000 books, but it's only going to be 1,000 seats. And I haven't checked today to see where we are with that, but I can tell you it's going to be this Saturday. It's going to sell out because there's no ticket. It's free. I'm giving this book away. You come free. Come kick it with me. Live DJ, live everything, guys. We're going to have a great time. Even got a guest speaker. It's gonna come, guys. We're gonna have a good time together. Financialmoses.com. Go. It doesn't cost anything. Everybody that comes get a free book. And guys, this book right now, you can go on Amazon right now, order all these books. It's gonna come out to be like $300 some. It's gonna change. I'm giving them away free at financialmoses.com on this Zoom party on Saturday, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. All right. Love you guys. Love of Christ. I am 20 minutes over. I gotta go. I love you guys. I'll see you guys later.